Are you a business owner looking to secure your financial future and create a lasting legacy? I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional, and I specialize in guiding businesses with up to 50 employees on how to effectively protect and transfer their wealth. We break down silos with my unique approach, the Wall of Wealth. Imagine a seamless collaboration among your CPA, tax attorney, estate planner, and insurance expert, each playing their part in perfect harmony, ensuring your financial strategy is not just effective, but a true masterpiece. My passion stems from my own journey, from growing up on food stamps to dreaming of building community centers that empower others. Together, we'll craft a roadmap that not only safeguards your assets, but also nurtures generational wealth for your loved ones. Let's transform your vision into reality. After all, you can't measure the heart of a champion just by looking at them. Join me, and let's make your financial future shine.
And we are live. Welcome to this edition of Wealthy Wednesday. Today is going to be incredible. I'm super fired up. So come on in, champions. Let me know where you're tuning in. Where are you finding us? We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn. I don't think we're live on Facebook right now, but let me know where you're tuning in from, because today is going to be an incredible event. I'm telling you, I want to just take a minute and just tell you something. Today, I want you to suspend your disbelief. And this is what I mean by that. We think we know what we know until we get new information. When I was a little girl, I'm going to date myself here, but that's okay. When I was a little girl in 4th grade, they told us the cell was the smallest particle available. Okay, that was the smallest particle. This was everything that we knew. And then suddenly we figured out, we got new information, right? We got better microscopes, and then all these other things came out of that cell. And so that's kind of what today is about. Whatever you think you know about the mind and the brain, today is going to be really kind of moving that, helping you to kind of expand what you think is possible. And I really absolutely love that this opportunity here, what I'm going to share with you, is going to help you look at things a little bit differently. I think this person that I have, my guest speaker today, is very much going to be made a movie out of. Okay, I absolutely tell you, you heard me say it right here. Today, he's giving his debut of sharing this story. I'm super, super honored that he's sharing his story publicly here with us all today. And here's the thing, is that they always say that we all have a story, and I absolutely do believe that. But some of us have a story that is here to really change what we think about things, to challenge what we believe that we know. And this gentleman is truly one of those. And I will say this, I met him through LinkedIn. I don't know if you're joining us from LinkedIn. If you are not joining us from LinkedIn, find us on LinkedIn. I'm telling you, if you're not on LinkedIn, you got to get on LinkedIn. I meet so many incredible people. People from all across the country, all across the world. And it just so happens he happens to be down the street from me. Not really, but kind of, right? We both live in California. I never probably would have met him if it were not for this incredible community that we call our LinkedIn community. And so today I want to introduce you to a guest. He's been on my show previously. He's actually a published author, and he wrote stories, which I love and adore, about the parks that he and his precious daughters visited when they were little girls growing up. And he would take them to all these different parks and different communities. And I absolutely adore that. But also, as we kind of cultivated our friendship, he started to share with me something else that has happened to him that I think is just incredible. So today we're going to talk about something that you may or may not have heard about, but here is our title. It's Trauma and Pain to Brain and Gain: How Life's Hardest Moment Unlocked Hidden Geniuses. Have you ever heard of something that's called an acquired savant syndrome? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard of it. I had never heard. Well, actually, I kind of heard of this, but to actually meet somebody who has experienced this is really incredible. And on top of that, He's an amazing person. He's just somebody you want to get to know, has a heart of gold, and he's really using this acquired savant syndrome that he's acquired, not through no fault of his own, but using it for the betterment of us all. So please give it up. I want you guys to grab your tea, grab your coffee. I want you to snuggle up because this is going to be today something that you have never, it's going to blow your mind. I promise you, it is going to blow your mind. And he's an incredible person on top of all that. So please give up for my incredible friend, Mr. Morris Brown. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday again, Mr. Morris Brown. How are you doing today?
Leah, thank you so much for having me on the show once again. The first time around was wonderful, and it's a pleasure to be here again to share my story with your audience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're already getting really popular here. I think you're really known on LinkedIn. So that's incredible. Again, we love you if you're on YouTube. We love you if you're watching us on Facebook. But come on over to LinkedIn and join the LinkedIn party. I promise you, you will not be sorry. I think no matter whatever you're doing on social media, LinkedIn has got to be a part of that. So we want to welcome the amazing Mr. Joshua Lee. If you don't know, you don't know, okay? If you know anybody on LinkedIn, you have to get to know the one and only Mr. Joshua Lee. He really is one that brings our community together, and he can rap, like big time rap. I'm telling you, he is the bomb.com. And my good friend Jason Wilson, I don't know, do you two know each other, Morris?
I think I've seen Jason as a visitor on your show before, as well as Jason.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I visited Jason's show. He does a music show online, and I visited that show once or twice.
Awesome. Well, I got to make sure to connect you two for sure. I think you two will have a lot of incredible conversations because Jason highlights another one of my favorite topics. Yes, he's a podcaster. He teaches you how to have your own podcast, but he's also a dream savant. Now, I love dreams. I have very vivid dreams. I have dreams so vivid that I have to remind myself that they're not real. It can cause some craziness. I'm telling you, we'll share that story another time, but also want to welcome my good friend Meryl. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad that you're able to be here. Meryl is just one of those people that you have got to know. He will shout you out. He brings the community together. He's really the glue, right? He's really one of the glues that brings our community together, sharing what we do, our events, and also bringing in other people. So making introductions. He's made some incredible introductions for me. Thank you so much, Meryl. We appreciate you. And Harumi, oh my gosh, you've got so many people here. Cheryl Lynn, great to see you. My good friend Cheryl Lynn, great to see you and your precious little fur babies. And I'm not sure who LinkedIn user is. Oh, you are very familiar with acquired savant diagnosis. I don't know who you are, LinkedIn user, but please identify yourself so we can shout you out and let you know and welcome you for being here. And oh my goodness, it is the Gita girl, the one and only Miss Gita girl. My twin daughters turned 13 on the 15th. Okay, happy birthday, happy birthday. And then we also have Miss Sharon Burns. She is actually a student loan forgiveness expert. If you are struggling with student loans or you just want to upgrade your money mind shift, please reach out to Miss Sharon Byrne. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I love talking about things that I don't know a lot about, and I really don't know a lot about this topic, although I've seen some things. I did a little bit of research, so I've just kind of have scratched the surface of what this all means. But let's kind of start from the beginning, kind of share your story a little bit on how this all came about.
Absolutely. Well, I was to really kind of start from the beginning of this whole story of how this all came about. I was coming back from lunch, driving. I live here in Southern California, and I had gone out for lunch. I work at home, so I was coming back, and I was at a stoplight waiting for the light to change. and a lady was eating her lunch. I could see her in my rear view mirror as her car approached my car, and she wasn't looking, and she was going at a pretty decent pace speed, and I could say she's going to hit me. She's going to hit me. And lo and behold, I braced, and she was still eating, taking a bite, and she slammed into the back of my car. And my neck jerked. I think my head hit the steering wheel as well. And I was dizzy. She had rammed into the back of my car. I kind of opened the door. I was dizzy. I kind of got out. She got out. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hit your car. I was eating my lunch. She admitted it. Actually, said I was eating my lunch.
Wow.
And I'm like, God, you hit me, And then we both kind of pulled into a parking lot right next to this area. And I exchanged information with her, insurance information and all that stuff. And, it turned out to be kind of a mess. And, I had to go through attorneys and insurance, but it got all taken care of legally and financially. That was all taken care of. However, I was very dizzy and very disoriented and had really pain for a month or so after this accident happened.
Mm.
And so I had gone to the doctor and got MRIs on my brain because my head was hurting really bad. And they said my brain was swollen inside my skull, and that it had really not severe trauma, but it definitely was some swelling in the brain within the skull. And I just started having like very, very vivid dreams. I mean, you said you have vivid dreams as well, Leah, but these dreams were like, I could look at the person in the dream, look them in their eyes and see the color of their eyes. And I could it's like we're talking now. That's how real that felt. So everything became very vivid. But two things happened to me that were quite unique. I mean, I've heard about savants before, people who can play piano like Beethoven, or there's some mathematician, or they have some type of accident and things kind of change. Well, the diagnosis from my doctor said I had a traumatic brain injury, or a TBI. So I started researching traumatic brain injuries, and I came across this savant type of effect that would happen to people who sometimes will, have a traumatic impact to their head in some way, and it would result in some type of new activity within their brain, or some type of new ability in their life that they are able to do something different than they had before. So the two things that happened to me, the first one was very strange, and I explained this to you, but I'm going to tell your audience as well. I eat out from time to time, and I went to one of my favorite restaurants here in LA, and I sat down and they brought my food, and I had some fish and some side dishes. It was a Mexican restaurant. I had like some rice and beans and fish and so forth. And believe it, I kid you not, once I started eating the fish, you know how you have a personality, Leah, and I have a personality? I could feel the personality of the fish, meaning who that fish was as a person, and the person that cooked the food. I'm like,
wow. So let me stop right there, because I mean, that blows my mind. I have a friend who, we have a couple of places that we go to eat pretty frequently. He can tell if the regular chef is there or not. Like, we usually go when this particular chef is there, But sometimes, they're vacation or something. And so he'll start getting ready to eat his food and he'll say, you know what? Jose's not here. He'll ask the waitress, is Jose here? Oh, no, he had to step out or something. So I can relate a little bit, but I want to know, how did you know it was the personality of the fish and of the person who cooked it? Like, could you see two visuals, or like, how did you know?
That's a very interesting question, Leah. How can I describe it? I have a personality, right? I know who I am, and I have my own personality. And if you're talking to someone in front of you, you know the person in front of you because you're talking to them, and they have a personality and so forth. But to have their personality within your own body, that was the weird part, because I could feel like who the fish was, like as a person. And then the person who cooked the food, I could feel his personality. It's like in you. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just a weird feeling of, I could feel who they were inside of me. And I thought I was going crazy. So I said, let me go to another restaurant. I'm not going to go to this restaurant, maybe. I don't know what it was. So I went to a different restaurant a week later or whatever it was. The same thing happened. I could feel the personality of the chicken and the personality of the person who cooked the food.
Wow.
I went to my doctor and I said, I'm having these vivid dreams where I can see people crystal clear, and now I'm feeling the personality of these dishes that I'm eating. I can like feel who they were. I'm like, how is this possible? If this food is, they're dead. The chicken is dead. The fish was dead. How am I feeling their personality? What kind of cosmic connection happened here with me being, in a car accident and having TBI? And I did research, and they say that a lot of people get various effects of a brain injury. And it's been 5 years since the accident, but it's minimalized now since it's been 5 years, but I still have those effects where I can sometimes feel a connection or just persona of the food that I'm eating. So that was one thing that happened to me. There were two things that happened to me. The second thing that happened to me was I started waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning,
Mm.
and I had like these genius ideas. I mean, I wake up at 4 or 5, I'm like, oh, and this idea would just be in my mind. And I would wake up and I'd write it down, and I'd start working on this idea and developing it as a product or a business or something. And I've come up with like 7 products and 3 apps for app development in the last year. I mean, it's strange. I mean, it happens in 2 ways. Either I will wake up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, with an idea on my own, or I'll hear someone with a problem, like a friend of mine or a self-associate says, "Oh, Morris, I have this problem, or I have that problem," and then I'll go to sleep that night and I'll come up with a solution
Wow.
to their problem. I mean, this is not just like I have a great idea. We're talking about clinical trials, prospectus, business executive summary, technical documentation, um, a full list of files for every single thing I come up with. I've come up with, to give you an example, I came up with I don't want to use the word cure because there might be a lot of people watching, but I've developed a procedure or a cure for a couple of things, and I'll talk about the list here. One is erectile dysfunction. I developed a product for erectile dysfunction that you go through the procedure once, and it lasts 27 years. And over the 27-year period, it gets better to where your performance is like you were when you were in your 20s. And this can be taken at any age. So if you're 80, it'll last 27 years beyond being 100 years old. So this is really a groundbreaking thing. I've also developed a new type of propulsion. Once again, these ideas just come to me at 4 in the morning. A new type of propulsion. We have combustion engines, and then we also have electric cars as well. I have developed a new type of propulsion that's not combustion and is not electric. It's a whole new type that would revolutionize really every aspect of transportation, whether it be space, automotive, cars, whatever the case may be. That's another. I've also developed a cure for alopecia. So anybody who has alopecia, can't grow hair, with my product and formulation, they can grow a full head of hair in 6 months, and it's permanent. So
Wow.
that's another thing. The one I really like is I've developed a product that will allow you to grow any hair texture. So say if you have straight hair, like you have straight hair, Leah. If I wanted to grow your hair or anyone who has really straight hair, I could grow fully straight hair over a 3-month period and have it stay. I also have it where it can reverse back. Now, somebody with fully straight hair, say they wanted to grow curly hair like I had at one time, not now, but if they want to grow some hair like, a person who has really tight curls, a person with fully straight hair could now grow curly hair taking this product. So anyone with any hair texture can grow any hair texture that they want.
Well, let me just say this. This is all a facade. Wake up, my hair is like this. So I would love that this just does this naturally, and I don't have to calm it down. If I'm in humidity, it's going to go like here. So I just want to give that disclaimer. This is not my natural hair by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Well, this would definitely help with anybody. I mean, you can imagine people who, get weaves, or people who perm their hair, or people who wear wigs and so forth. This would alleviate that entirely, because taking this formulation, you could grow any type of hair texture that you want naturally from the root, as opposed to just being a scalp type of treatment. This is a supplement that you take internally that changes the overall structure of the follicle from a DNA perspective. So that's another product. Another product.
It's more because you have so many. I know you've got so many that are just really life-changing. I mean, for me, the hair for sure. You've got several of them that really resonate with me. But the first time this happened and you had this idea, did you know this was what was happening to you? Or did you think, wow, this is just like because sometimes we wake up from a dream, or I know sometimes I will go to sleep with like, okay, a question. I want the answer to this question, and I'm kind of seeking it. But you woke up and you had this incredible thought. Like, what went through your mind when all that was happening?
It was like normal, just like when you wake up and you go brush your teeth. It was just like me waking up as usual, but I had this extra thing added to me that I didn't have before. I mean, I think I'm a smart guy. I'm a fairly smart guy, but I started waking up with this extra crystal clear idea, almost like a voice, and it would like point to, or this idea would be in my head. I mean, like another idea I had for a sugar substitute. You know how we all love sweets, we all love donuts or cake and cookies or whatever, but the effects of sugar is bad for our bodies, to eat sugar all the time. So I developed a sugar substitute that tastes like maple syrup, but has zero glycemic effects on the body and has the effect of eating a bowl of vegetables. So it's like eating vegetables, but you're actually tasting maybe.
Sign me up for that. I mean, come on, we all want some of that.
Can you imagine eating a cake having the glycemic effect of eating a bowl of vegetables with no sugar glycemic? I mean, diabetes would be, taken care of, and a lot of other sugar related illnesses could really be alleviated by a product such as this. Another friend of mine had some shoulder tendonitis. I developed a product that alleviates shoulder tendonitis. So that's one thing. So it seems like I problem solve more easily where it's really at a higher level than I've ever had before. I've always been a good common sense guy and an outside the box thinker and problem solver. But now, any one of your guests or anybody who has a problem or an idea or something or whatever, and if they would give it to me, I would come back to them. I'd sleep on it. They basically don't even have to, they just kind of tell me what it is. Like friends of mine have told me just certain things. I'll say, okay, I'll go to sleep. I'll wake up and I'll like have the solution.
Wow.
And I will give it to them in this full form of scientific documentation. I mean, I have different tools that I use to assist me to iterate these ideas, but it's pretty amazing. The friends that I've given this to, like I'll give a full report, like 100-page report with all these different files, and they'll look at me like dumbfounded, like, how did you do this? And it's either by myself, I'll wake up with an idea at 4 or 5 in the morning out of the clear blue sky, or some friend will have an idea or a problem, and then I will solve it for them. So I've really been trying to use this to help, society. And from the title of your show is Wealthy Wednesday. We're talking about billion-dollar industries on some of these ideas that I've had. I have an appointment with a company who's I don't want to say who it is, but a very well-to-do company in the hair care industry who's interested in my hair care products that actually can grow any type of hair texture. So I have to meet with them coming up pretty soon. But I mean, I'd love to talk to Elon Musk about my propulsion idea. I'm sure he would be interested in something like this that is not electric and not gas combustion, because this is really would be revolutionary for travel in any aspect. But the ideas just keep coming, so I just keep taking on ideas from friends and family and whoever else who has a problem I can solve it for them.
Yeah, that's incredible. And think about this. We all know that we only use a very small portion of our brain. They say it's like 10%. I don't know if that's accurate, but if we could access more of our brain, we could do tremendous things. We've all heard that before. And that's really what's happening with you, Morris, is that you're able to access this part of your brain that was dormant. And for whatever reason, now it's active. But, not everyone with a traumatic brain injury experiences this. My nephew was 19 years old, and he was in a truck versus motorcycle accident. And the impact was so dramatic that it ejected him 90 feet off of his motorcycle. The boots were still on the motorcycle. And to this day, I mean, he, thank God, we didn't even know if he was going to make it through the night. He did make it through the night. That was almost 3 years ago. In April will be 3 years. And, his functionality, brain functionality is probably like a 12-year-old. And we don't know if he'll ever be able to have the full function. He's still working to get full function of his right hand. And, he can get kind of frustrated with that. So not everyone who experiences a traumatic brain injury will have this, but you just happen to be one of those really rare exceptions where it opened up space in your mind, that your brain that was dormant, is what it sounds like.
Well, yeah, I've done a lot of research into the brain and really deep scientific research into telomeres that are shortened of a telomeres and that limits our ability in some way. And why are those telomeres, shortened to where they don't grow to
Yeah.
their full potential? So a lot of science has gone into, why are humans the way that they are? Why are our brains the way that they are? And what are they capable of? Just like with a mother, or a parent. Some reason that parents have an amazing connections with their children that's almost psychic, that if something happens to their kid, they can almost feel it even though they're not near their child. Like with my kids or anybody else's. I've seen numerous stories of there's some kind of psychic mental connection with your children even though you're not even near them. So there's some science going on there that's really at a whole nother level of understanding that modern medicine has not fully figured out. So what happened to me with this accident, I wouldn't wish a car accident on anybody, but I've been trying to really embrace it because, like I said, I think I'm a smart guy, and I'm a college professor. I've taught for many years and do some amazing things, but nothing to the effect of this until this accident. So I just really am going to embrace. There's many people who have encouraged me that I've seen on LinkedIn or YouTube videos of people with no legs and they climb Mount Everest, or this one ballet dancer who has no arms and she does beautiful ballet. And so there's a lot of people who have different impairments and they turn it from a negative into a positive. So I call it this turning lemons into lemonade because this could have been pretty serious, with this accident. It could have been a lot worse than it was. But now that this has happened and I'm coming up with all of these, and they keep coming. I wake up and, you'll just keep coming. I mean, yeah, I just have, like I say, people who will even be, a casual conversation and talking about a problem, and then I'll wake up with an answer to it the next morning. So
That's amazing. I love that.
I want to
And I
help.
want
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, I just say I want to help whoever I can who has problems of some sort. Just if you got my LinkedIn and we can chat, or you want to share your idea, your issue, or whatever, and then I'll sleep on it and see what I come up with.
Well, you're opening up a big door there, so Morris, so be prepared. You're going to be flooded with DMs, but I love your generous heart.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight this question. I don't know that you can speak to this, but
Yeah.
Sherilyn asked, what does it mean when you start talking in your sleep and it wakes you up? I will tell you that I have had vivid dreams for many, many years. But for a long time, I didn't know that they were dreams. I actually thought they were real things that happened, real conversations. So much to the degree that I would get into arguments with people because I'd say, no, remember we went there, we did this, and I talked about that, and I told you this. And it wasn't until I started journaling, maybe about 10 years ago, and I started to write down my dreams, and then I would realize, oh, that didn't really happen. That was a dream that I had. So my dreams aren't as vivid as yours, where I see their eyeball to eyeball, but they're pretty vivid. I see people, I see colors, I remember things. And one thing I will say, Sherilyn, is you should connect with Jason Wilson. Okay, he's our dream savant for sure. But do you have anything you want to share about that, Morris? About this question?
The question on the screen from Cheryl.
Yeah.
What does it mean when you start talking in your sleep and it wakes you up? That's a good question. I've had that happen to me before. I played football in college, and we watched film every week because you're getting ready for the next game next week. So my girlfriend at the time would say I'd be, putting arm movements up and like I'm hitting an offensive lineman in my sleep because I'm thinking about it so much. So when you start talking in your sleep, it means that you must have something that's really deeply on your mind to the point where you're acting out. in real life, because sometimes we dream and you're just a part of the dream and you just stay on your pillow and you don't do anything physically, you just kind of stay there. But with me, with pretending I'm hitting this team of offensive linemen because I'm dreaming about these plays so much in my head, I think people who sleepwalk or actually talking, I think they're really in that deep level of sleep, because there's certain levels of sleep that our mind gets into, REM sleep, and certain levels of deep sleep that we get into. I think it's between 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning is when you have that deep sleep. And some people who have a lot on their mind, deeply on their mind, I think that could transfer into the physical, in that they will start sleepwalking, talking, acting out in some way if they're in that deep level of sleep. So the brain is an amazing creation. And so, yeah, that's my answer for that question.
Yeah, that's good. I would say this also, Sherilyn. Jason Wilson taught me this. How do you feel when you're coming out of that dream? Are you excited? Are you scared? Are you angry? Are you happy? Like, how do you feel? And then just maybe you can kind of reverse engineer. Maybe that is the source of it. It's something that you're fearful of, or maybe it's something that's exciting that they're, is whispering in your ear. They're trying to get your attention. So yeah, that's incredible. So what would you say? I have this question for you.
Yeah.
That I hear quite a bit, and I don't know that you can speak to this, but a lot of people think that the brain and the mind are the same. And if you listen to Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers, she has a lot of opinions about that. What would you say to that, Morris?
Well, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm not sure if you've heard of him or not. He talks about heart coherence. And I've also some top people who are involved in consciousness, and they say that the whole universe is built on consciousness, and we have a subconscious mind and we have a thorough mind, and that our higher self is consciousness, and that our physicalness here on the earth is only a end result of consciousness that has come down and created this area that we are and that we live in. So there's a lot of interesting, if you want to get back to talking about God and the source of the universe and where we all come from, that's pretty amazing theories that get involved in who is God, what is God, where does he come from, and then how do we get down to this human creation of the universe. I'm a Christian, so I do believe that there was some entity, or if you want to call it God, that created the entire universe, and that all of this is a result of conscious thought. It's just like, if you think I'm going to win, I'm going to be a winner, I'm going to be successful. If you say that 1,000 times, subconsciously in your own brain, you can help create your future through that positive affirmations and positive focusing on your subconscious, so that it comes out in the physical world. So I definitely think there's amazing things that the brain can do. Now, one important thing here is that a lot of things can affect you, the brain, and that being your environment, your diet, and also meditation. Being a Christian, after I read the Bible or pray, I go to a quiet place and I meditate and I pray. And they say that that's really a part of connecting to Source, God, is through this nonverbal kind of a connection. So from a physical standpoint, it's already been proven that certain foods affect your body in ways that can affect your cerebral activity within your brain. If you're eating sugar all day, it affects your brain in a certain way, as opposed to eating, really healthy and a clean diet, and doing things that cleanse your blood and, are clean about your overall health. Your brain's going to act different. So definitely there's a connection to overall health, mental health. There's a lot of talk about how people are stressed on their jobs and how people who have high cortisol levels because of stress, because of being on the job. So you really want to kind of keep your cortisol levels down. You want to keep the stress down because that has so many, compounding effects that are negative on the body and can affect you cognitively. So,
Yeah,
so
sure.
yeah, there's a whole connection with this whole brain thing. The brain is probably the most fascinating organ in the body that controls, because the whole thing is, if you were quiet right now and you started singing a song in your brain, just quietly to yourself, not verbally, how are you hearing yourself singing? Where is that? Where in space?
Oh my gosh.
I can sing a song to myself in my head right now, and I can hear it. Nobody else can hear it, but like, where is that? Where is that happening? So it's amazing what the brain can do. So traumatic brain injuries opening up this new window. I've seen different videos on people who are savants. This is one guy, he's blind and he's deaf, and he plays piano like Beethoven.
Wow.
And then one guy I saw who he would fly over New York City or some city, and then he'd come back and he could paint the entire city exactly to the T of where every building is.
Right.
So some people are born with this savant. Some people have traumatic injuries that open up this whole new world of savantism. And it just so happens that happened to me. And, I'm embracing it. I love it. So I'm trying to, back to the title of your show, Weatlthy Wednesdays, I'm trying to now capitalize on this thing that's happened to me. I mean, some of these ideas are really in the billion-dollar industry level. I mean, in the hair product, the new type of propulsion, the billion-dollar industry, the sugar substitute, another billion-dollar industry. All the other things about fixing tendonitis. Yeah, any idea, the problem that comes to me, I can come up with some type of solution for it. So I'm happy that it's here, and I'm just going to continue to help people or who need my assistance, or just ideas that I come up with myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And for sure, I'm down for the hair. Okay, so put me down. I'll be on auto ship, whenever that happens like that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of hair, but it does is what it wants to do. Okay. But for sure, also, I wanted to kind of circle back to some of your ideas, because some of them, absolutely, the hair is a billion-dollar industry. We know, ladies, if our hair ain't on point, it just makes us feel some kind of way. But the other one that you talked about with me, and that I think is so crucial, because I know so many people who are being impacted by it, is the diabetes. So is that along with the sugar program?
Absolutely. The main thing, see, what's curious to me, and a lot of people who are in the food industry say that there's evil intent behind anybody who works with sugar. It has so many negative effects on the body. And if you think about it, why are donut shops open at 24 hours? They say it goes back to the days of law enforcement, where cops had to stay up because they're working 24-hour shifts, so they would eat donuts. I think it goes back to the 1920s or 30s, even, when they were eating sugars. But basically, any doctor will tell you, or any homeopath, or any person who deals in health will tell you that sugar is just not good for the body, especially in its artificial state. I mean, natural sugars and fruits are definitely better. However, raw sugars and manufactured sugars are horrible for the body in so many ways. So, but the whole thing is, we're at a paradox. I love cake. I love cookies.
Yeah.
I love peach cobbler. I love donuts. So I had this idea. I went to bed with this problem. I like all this stuff, but man, I just can't eat it every day. And I woke up with this idea for this new sugar replacement that has the effects of eating vegetables, but it has zero glycemic effect on the body. So, for example, I have two versions of this, liquid and powder form like flour. So you could basically make a cake and you could eat that cake every single day of your life with no glycemic effects on the body whatsoever.
Wow.
Basically like eating vegetables every day, but it's cake. So that's what we've been looking for is how can I have my guilty pleasure without it being guilty? This is the way you can do it. And it's a sad situation that we've all heard the story of the big drug companies work with the food industries to keep the people ill by the food supply so that they come back to the doctors for more drugs of some sort to cure them of diabetes or whatever the case may be. Why not just fix the problem, which is what's going in the body in the first place? So this idea came up of this because we all love sweet. We love the taste of sweet in our mouth. So I want to still have the sweet craving that I crave it, but just make sure that what's going in does not have the effects of raw sugar. So I came up with this. I just woke up with this idea of making a product that has zero negative effects on the body, but actually has the effects of vegetables. And I came up with this formulation. It's all ready to go for manufacturing. I
Wow.
just have to talk to some investors who want to hop on board and get the patents in place. And the same thing with the hair idea. I have all the formulations ready to go. Talk to investors, get these patents, and whoever I have to tell you, whoever hops on this with me, I mean, this is going to be a major return on investment for anybody who gets in early and hops on this because this is not some $10,000 idea that might make some money. We're talking about billions of dollars, especially in the automotive as well with the new type of propulsion. So yeah, I mean, I'm willing to brainstorm with people. I'm able to come up with solutions for people who have a problem or have an idea of some sort. I can, for whatever reason, fall asleep and come up with a solution for it. So
That's awesome.
I'm here and willing to help and share this thing that's happened to me with people.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I want to highlight this comment by Jay. Trauma can take place many ways, and there are so many ways to overcome trauma. I totally agree with you. We can actually regrow and re-stimulate areas of our brain. I don't know how all that works, but I'm going to tell you, I'm there for the hair and I'm there for the sugar replacement that's like veggies. So if you are an investor, you are connected to investors, you like the idea of being an angel investor. I don't know how all that works, but you know what? Maybe you're the person that can connect Morris to the investors who can put those dollars to work and really create the patents, because I think we could all use a replacement for sugar that is actually healthy for us, that does something good, not that is just not bad for us, but also helps to contribute to our good health.
Absolutely. I mean, I came up with this because of myself having a love for sugar. I just found a new bakery near my house, and I just went there a couple of days ago. I've been going there like every other couple of weeks. I'm like, man, this is so delicious. But then I have to go hit the gym right away and take a cleanse to clean the stuff out of my body because there's so much sugar in it. So my body, somehow my mind says, okay, you have a problem. I see you like this cake, but you don't like the effects. And it just goes to work on its own and comes up with a solution. So that's something new that hasn't happened before, that I've done this at this kind of level. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on coming up with. I just came up with a new idea. I went to the dentist last week, and they got to take that big needle to numb you up. and stick you in your gums, and that stuff hurts, getting a needle stuck in your gum. So I came up with the very next day
Wow.
a full business plan on how it's a 3-step process to how patients will feel zero pain getting stuck with the needle at the dentist.
There
My
you
dentist,
go.
I asked my dentist after she stuck me and it hurt like heck. I'm like, what is a problem that you have in dentistry that really you need a problem you need solved? Well, people don't like the needle. It gets stuck in the gum and they jerk around and they can't take the pain. The next day I came up with a solution for a pain to having the needle stuck in your gums at the dentist, so you'll feel zero. It's a triage of a process that will allow the patient to feel zero pain. So that's see, like when a problem comes to me, even by my personal experience or through someone, I go to sleep and then I come up with a solution. So
Well, here you go. Here's another challenge for you right here from our very own Merrill. He said, you will be a savior, Morris Brown, if you could develop a cure for Alzheimer's.
Okay, well, Merrill, I'll tell you what, Merrill, take down my information. I can give you my phone later as well. We can connect and I will work on a cure for Alzheimer's. It's really simple as that. People tell me a problem, I go to sleep on it, and somehow I come up with an answer. I have different tools that I use to help iterate the overall process. And but yeah, okay, Alzheimer's it is. I will work on that and go to sleep tonight and see what I come up with.
Wow, that's incredible.
And then I'll let you know as well, Leah, that we had this conversation and then see the results, and I connect with Merrill.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alzheimer's is a big, big deal. Alzheimer's, dementia. Oh my gosh, it's almost like
one that I want to work on is fibromyalgia. That's one that I think I want to tackle. So I think I'm going to work on that. But definitely Alzheimer's is because so many people love their loved ones, and their loved ones fade away with Alzheimer's. So if you could have them cognitively stay with you and not have this, what happens with Alzheimer's as it gets worse, where they just don't remember and things happen. So yeah, I'll definitely work on that for sure. I'll see what I can do.
Awesome. Here's another question. I don't know if you could speak to this, but it's from our very own Sherilyn. She says, please talk about the mind and gut connection. Do you have any thoughts you want to share with that?
Yeah, this gets back to this thing about the sugar, because if your diet is off balance and these little gremlins are in your gut, these parasites can make you want to eat sugar. So they can affect you at a cognitive level of the gut. Whatever's going on in your gut controls your whole body. They call it like the second brain. And that if your gut is full of parasites and candida and all these things, you will crave certain foods based on the level of what's happening in your gut. So that's why the product that I talked about, my product, that would help in this sugar replacement, it would alleviate all that because it would fool your body into thinking that you're eating a bowl of salad as opposed to actual raw sugar. So absolutely there's a connection to the gut and what happens in there and how it affects the brain. Because the parasites can tell your brain and trigger your brain, we need sugar, because parasites love to eat sugar and stuff like that. So they will actually trigger you to want to eat bad,
Yeah. And I would say what I've learned too is that cancer loves sugar. Yes. In my studies, I've got a lot of clients right now who are facing some challenges with cancer, and that's a research that I've learned. So sugar is definitely not our friend, even though we really do crave it. And if those parasites are grooming around in there and they're telling us to get that sugar, it is very difficult to resist it. We got to do that cleanse. So yes, Miss Sharon Mosquito Girl, mind right, vessel tight, spirit right. Absolutely. we're kind of winding down here. I don't even know where this hour went, but this has been a fascinating conversation. If please connect with Morris offline. I'm telling you, you will be so glad that you did. You've accomplished so much. So tell me, what can we expect to see here in the next, 12, 18 months? Like, where's Morris Brown 2026? Like, where are you going? Where are you headed? What can we look at?
I'm going to start working on, marketing these ideas. I also came up with 3 unicorn app ideas for new applications. One of these is truly incredible and would help everybody on the planet. Sometimes you have certain apps that are for kids, or certain apps that are for adults, or certain apps that are for men or women. This app would help everybody on the planet in a positive way. And so I'm looking into more development on that app, but also other aspects of what I'm doing with the other 2 apps as well. I see a question on your screen here. It says, sugar all bad, or does it have any benefit? Well, there are various forms of sugar. When you get into sugar that's within fruits, the question is, where do we get good food from? I think that's the key thing, because the food now is really scary. And what I mean by that is, when you go to the grocery store, you have all this seedless products. God did not make things without seeds. Grapes had seeds, watermelons have seeds. I just saw some research that say you should stay away from seedless food.
Yeah.
Fruits that don't have any seeds, that is a man-made alteration, and that you should not touch seedless stuff because it's been tampered with genetically. So that's the key thing about our food supply and sugar, is that it's been tinkered with. So, and then the soil is depleted of nutrients because we've over processed our foods. And so that's a whole nother conversation as far as, so my really advice is to, move to a farm and have a garden, grow your own food, and just try and do things as holistically as you can. Because when I go to the grocery store, I read labels, I check, I'm really selective about what I put in my body. Because as we get older, it's not like we're in our 20s. As you get older, your body is not as forgiving. So what you put into your body, very specific on what I put into my body. So make sure you're putting in the healthy stuff. Try and be as holistic as you can. Meditate. You can get to this level that I am by really cleansing your body and meditating and just, sinking into yourself. However, I've gotten to this situation through a traumatic brain injury. So I'm not glad that I had the accident, but I'm glad of the effect, that I'm going to do my best to help people. I see Meryl has another question. How about back pain relief and spinal conditions? Actually, Meryl, as a part of that car accident, I did have a compression in C7, L4, and L5. So I haven't worked on that yet. So maybe I'll work on that as well. So yeah.
It sounds like you and Meryl need to connect for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk. I'll talk to all your guests here. I just want everybody to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. And you're definitely working on the wealthy part and the happy part, Leah. And if I can help in any way in the wealthy part through some of my concepts and ideas to help people with a problem or an issue, I mean, some of the ones that I've already mentioned can help many people. So if anybody wants to come on board and discuss some of the ideas, the things that I've done, I'd be more than happy to. I've also developed a new process for building homes that's unique as well. You basically can have it in the back of a pickup truck and you take it to the location, and then all of a sudden it comes out into the size of a 3-bedroom house. So that's another process.
We love that. We love that. Affordable housing.
Ideas, yeah.
Affordable housing is really a national crisis. Well, This has been incredible. I knew it would be. Please share this with somebody, tag somebody who needs to see this. And if you know somebody that you could connect Morris to help him really to cultivate any of these ideas, or you just want to have a great conversation, reach out to him. I promise you, he's a wonderful connection. And that's what this community is about. It's about connecting with each other. It's about showcasing each other and learning something new, right? We already know what we know. Well, how about if we take this opportunity to expand our mind and just give yourself an opportunity to learn something that maybe you never even thought was possible. And not that any of us want to have a traumatic brain injury, but gosh, if you could have something like this and be able to have this opportunity to flip the script, I think that's incredible. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for your time, Morris. It was a lot of fun as always. I know you made some new fans and friends. A lot of people are going to be reaching out to you. I don't know, you might have to start picking and choosing who you help, but I know your heart is truly there to help others.
Absolutely. My philosophy is service to others. And that's what you do. And that's what I do as a Christian. I just want to serve other people and help the earth and humanity as the best I can. We're getting into some turbulent times in this world, what's happening in different parts of the world and politically and socially. So if I can do something to help, I'm definitely here to do that.
Absolutely. And remember, this is 2025. It is your year to rise up and thrive and make it the best year of your life. This is the year to get your finances in order. So many well-meaning people will not understand that building our financial household is just like building a home. And unfortunately, many people will put on the roof and the windows before they ever built a strong financial foundation. I invite you to download my free one-page financial plan, The Wall of Wealth. It will teach you step by step of the things that you need to look at and make sure that you have addressed in your financial plan. And I promise you, putting together that financial strategy will give you a sturdy home long term. Otherwise, those booby traps will blindside us. Right? That's where the emergency comes. And now we've got to pull money out of our credit cards. We got to pull money out of our house. We got to start selling our children. I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm talking about. And so we don't want to do that. That's not us. We're champions and we're here to have the best year of our life. So please reach out to me. I'd love to enjoy a coffee chat with you. Please connect with my good friend, Morris Brown. And we will see you here next week, where we're always looking for guest speakers. If you're an entrepreneur looking for a platform, you'd like to be a guest, I'd love to chat with you. So thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, it's 2025. We got to rise up and thrive and make it the best year of your life.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.